mighty ocean. Oceans connected with seas full of possibilities. Oceans cover close to 3/4 of the Earth's surface, and we can barely do jack squat with it. Yeah, we can get out there with a boat, but then what? Yeah, sure, you can fish and maybe swim, but then what? If the elements don't get to you first, you die of boredom, that's what. There's nothing you can do. Don't get me wrong, though. I love the ocean. It's a superbly beautiful force of nature. Look at this CD. This CD is just the ocean being an ocean for an hour. I bought this. All I'm trying to say is I can't be all like, hey, do you want to go over to the Indian and pick up some Indian? No. It doesn't work that way. It's uninhabitable by man. There's no mall food courts going up on the ocean's floor anytime soon. Thankfully, I've encountered a few different games that let us experience the ocean in ways that we either can't or aren't willing to do ourselves. And in that respect, you might say the possibilities are endless. Endless Ocean is a marine exploration game with a rather large amount of sea life that is scattered about many vast undersea landscapes. The developer, Arika, went from making Street Fighter games to this. After choosing a well-sculpted and beautiful person to play as, you're thrown into the water straight away to learn where the B button is, and other things that tell you how to play the game. Things like feeding and incessantly poking the wildlife to get them to tell you what their names are, and what their dating profiles look like. The person guiding you is your main point of contact in the game, Catherine. She's there to help / make sure you're doing your job, whether it be stuff she makes up or emails from the Foundation that task you with duties as well. Oh, and she knows if you're working alright, because she hooked a camera up to your air tank and can see everything. Yeah, I can imagine how effective that is. Catherine at one point early on also lets the boat get invaded by pirates! Just kidding, I mean penguins. I seriously have no idea how they would get up on this boat without her help. But he's a quick dose of cute, so I let it pass. Besides, meeting the penguin fills up my encyclopedia. And who doesn't like a little bit of that fun-jucation every now and then? As I said earlier, there's tons of sea life to meet. And I don't know how some of these names got attached to some of these things, but I think I could have done better. Look at this one. Blue Tang? Tang is orange. And this is supposed to be a pyramid butterfly? Shouldn't it look something closer to this then? The game clearly wishes to be a relaxing experience with no dangers at all to harm the player, on top of the soothing music. There's a chair on the boat's deck next to a radio. You're able to put MP3s on an SD card, put that into the Wii, and just sit in this chair and stare blankly into the distance. Unlocking and exploring new areas, meeting new sea life, and checking emails every now and then really does provide a relaxing experience if you give it a chance. Well, there was this one guy though. I had a mission where I needed to be this guy's underwater guide, and he really wanted to find this one particular fish called a humphead wrasse. I'd show him other fish while I was looking for that particular one he wanted, and he'd spout such gems such as, "My body feels cleansed when I'm here. As a guide, yours must too." I'd point out a completely random fish, and he's like, "It recognized me." Dude, this is the ocean. There's no way you met this one fish before.
I'd pay anything to be a fish for a day, wouldn't you?
And
I wish I could tell my friends back home about how I feel right now.
Dude, you should have said something. I'd have given you a Ziploc bag for your phone. You could have tweeted out them feels right here. The ocean swells, much like how life has its ups and downs, times of peace and times of storms. There are very few racing games that can compare to such a dynamic, quite like Wave Race Blue Storm. Blue Storm was a distant sequel to Wave Race 64. Being about 5 years apart from each other, the technological and graphical differences are fantastic. At first glance, it appears to just be a racing game with jet skis, combined with doing stunts as a gameplay mechanic. However, not only were the graphics something to behold at the time of this game releasing, as it also happened to be a launch title for the GameCube, there was possibly nothing quite like the physics in it, and how those physics affected the gameplay. Courses handled a lot differently pending the weather and the intensity of the waves. You might be used to taking a turn a certain way, but a well-timed wave or even a speeding wake from another racer can mess you up if you're not accounting for it. In addition to the water's conditions, different difficulty levels are unlockable for each course, and those difficulties provided different paths and obstacles. Given all of these variables, I believe that that's why they added a free roam mode to their racing game, just so you can take the time to explore for differences at your leisure. And I just have to mention that it has 4-player local split screen, and you can ride on a dolphin. I can't help but think of pirates when I think of the ocean, so I can't help but bunny trail onto that for a bit. Just look at me. I'm already dressed for it. I get that Assassin's Creed is a popular series, but I never got big into it. But the good word of mouth towards Black Flag got me to give the series a chance again, and I'm glad I did. It has what we've come to expect with the parkouring and the assassinating and the stealthing, but it's taking place on gorgeous islands filled with activity and life. Exploration not just confined to cities, but many islands all connected by vast waters filled with danger and adventure. Your ship, the Jackdaw, is the real highlight here. Naval combat is really fun and gives the game that true sense of piratiness, fighting not just against other ships, but rough waters. Avast, finding maps and searching for treasure too? Arr, these waters be worth charting, matey. Just don't do anything unnecessarily dangerous. Oops. Sid Meiers Pirates is another title where you take to the open seas to become strong and to take revenge on the Marquis de la... bad man who raided your house and kidnapped your family. You align yourself with one of 4 factions, but at the start, no matter which one you pick, they act like butts and pick on you until mutiny gets incited. Then you get to take over and be your own kind of butt. Sail the Caribbean and take to the campaign as you see fit. Manage a crew, hunt for treasure, chase rumors, get married, work the economy. It's all up to you. The game got very good reviews back in the day, and I think it still holds up quite well. Maybe you like the idea of being out on a boat, but don't like the part where you're surrounded by diseased guys who are singing shanties for hours at a time. Maybe you want to be able to just kick back and relax, but yet still have the possibility of something exciting happening? Sounds like fishing might be up your alley then. World of Fishing though. World of Fishing. This game. This is a fishing MMORPG. Yes, MMORPG. With gear, with stats, with leveling. It's an MMO, yet I don't have much I can even say about it. This free-to-play game lets you make a character, gives you a rod, a boat, and zones in which you get your fish on. The quests are flavor text that boil down to go catch this, so you do it. That gets you experience, and you can sell what you catch for money to buy different gear. I got to level 12, and there's probably ways to level faster, but I kinda don't care. Just hanging out and getting small bits of XP is enough for me. I've read that there's boss encounters that can take upwards of 30 minutes! 30 minutes to reel in and finish! You might think, oh, who would bother to do something like that for a half an hour? And I'd say, possibly me. Because I don't have to do it all at once, because my MMO fishing game has a pause button. I would love to know of any other MMO game that comes equipped with a pause button. Anyway, that's all I care to share on World of Fishing for now. Truly, what you see is what you get. But one more thing before we abandon ship, because I gotta bring this up. I'm dumbfounded that I managed to get this username.
You don't have enough memory in the memory card.
Join my World of Fishing guild, the Sodanglers, today. I wanted to talk about Subnautica for a bit. At the time of making this, Subnautica is in early access, and while I believe that it's fairly well known that there is a plethora of open-world survival games that stay within the deep trenches of early access and never come out, I also believe that this game is an exception to this trend. The game has so much content in its world to explore and story to investigate, considerably farther along than you would expect most early access games to be. I enjoy exploring the ocean and getting upgrades as an excuse to see even more of it. I'm looking forward to seeing how it shapes up. Sometimes there are games that exist to be an experience, showcases of color, music, and expression. This next game is my go-to example. Abzu. I like pounding the buttons and winning just about as much as the next guy, but Abzu is one of those games that I think needs to be played simply because it's one of those games. The sheer amount of movement on the screen to create such a pretty scene. The sense of wonder of who you are. What that thing is. What's the deal with these paintings, and why is this the greatest mosh pit I have ever seen in my life? Sets of vibrant color, displays of speed with matching accompaniment, and quiet opportunities to slow down and take it all in. Dude, and I super love the coelacanth and how they made it look in this game. I used to spend hours trying to catch these things in Animal Crossing. They went for some big bucks. Abzu is really one of those games where it'd likely be beneficial to you to be able to relax and unwind with it. It's an ocean worth diving into. I said near the start of this video that when it comes to the ocean, the possibilities are endless. To one game developer, it wasn't endless enough. It's a bit surprising to me to see a sequel to something like Endless Ocean, but this is it. Endless Ocean Blue World comes back with more diving and new features. Some of those fine features include a heavier focus on telling a story, more diverse locations to dive in, and a gun. You have to use it to protect yourself in some situations, because as opposed to the last game, there are actual threats in this one. It's called the Pulsar, and it's used to heal and calm things down. It really is too bad that the multiplayer is offline for the game. Maybe you could have swam around and shot at each other with the gun. It was one of the few games that used the We Speak accessory even. At one point in the game, you get to hang out at a place called Nine Ball Island. And by this island, you're told about this dolphin that hangs out there. I know dolphins are smart, but this one is supposedly savvy in business logistics. Even after proving itself with such an amazing talent as that, they never gave it a name, and they tasked me with naming it. I spent way too long trying to name this dolphin. Dolphins are my favorite animal. I wanted to do this one justice. I can't gauge how much time I spent exactly on this, but it was too much. I didn't know if it was a boy or a girl dolphin or where exactly it came from, but it seems that it was fated that I meet with this intelligent, magnificent creature and dub it DJ Dajay. I was able to make Dajay sing and jump some more, and then I boated off and met some random guy in the middle of the water, and he wanted some of my soda, and I wasn't in the mood to share, so I stopped playing. Honestly though, I'm not gonna stop playing Endless Ocean Blue World. Sometimes I need an excuse to wind down, and this is one of those games that's my ticket for it. I covered a lot of games in this one, and I hope you all got something out of it. The ocean's nothing to mess around with. I'm really hoping for a day where we're able to build big domes and bases on the ocean floor to be able to live in. I know we're anxious to see and explore planets, but I want to see new stuff happen with the ocean too. You know, I think I'm gonna try something real quick. Yep, this is doing it for me. To everyone that stopped by, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then you can let me know by liking it and subscribing. Links to Twitch and Twitter are in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, then you also might like my previous video where I talk about pre-rendered graphics. Well, I suppose that about does it for me this time. This is Officer Dan, reminding you to take it easy.